Former President Donald Trump is fighting off allegations that he disparaged a murdered army soldier due to her ancestry. Back in 2020, Vanessa Guillén was murdered by a male soldier at what was formerly known as Fort Hood after being sexually harassed. She had previously told her mother, an undocumented immigrant, that complaints were made by other female soldiers that had been dismissed by officials and was concerned that if she reported it, she would face retaliation. So she tried to handle it herself and ended up being murdered for it brutally. I mean, she was assaulted with a weapon, with a hammer. Now, on July 30th, 2020, Guillén's family met with President Donald Trump regarding that murder and demanded that the military improve the way that they handle claims of sexual harassment, which I think is a perfectly, good ask. I think that's a great thing. And by the way, as a result, that actually happened. But there's a caveat to that. I'll get to that. Now, during that meeting with Trump, he had actually promised to help her pay for the funeral. That's weird. In a recording, he said, if I can help you out with the funeral, I'll help. I'll help you with that. I'll help you out. Financially, I'll help you. Okay. Interesting. Now, fast forward to December of that year, however, after he had asked, hey, did they bill us for the funeral? And a staffer had responded with the price, he flew into a rage. Okay. So now the aide responded that, yes, we got billed. It's about $60,000. To which Trump had allegedly responded, it doesn't cost $60,000 to bury an effing Mexican. Wow. Okay, then.
The Republican Party's racist.
If that actually happened. And the Atlantic then reported that Trump turned to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and said, don't pay it. Don't pay it. Later that day, Trump allegedly claimed that Guillén's grieving family was trying to take advantage of him. Can you believe it? Effing people trying to rip me off, according to a witness. Okay. So wait, first off, didn't you offer to pay it? If you offer to pay it, I mean, you're kind of stuck, right? Now, obviously, when it comes to Trump, he doesn't pay anything. So it was an empty offer. And at the end of the day, he didn't contribute a cent. All right. Not one single nickel. Which, again, I don't think it should surprise anyone that he didn't pay. That said, Alex Pfeiffer, a spokesperson for Trump, released a statement to The Atlantic saying this, that he had never referred to Guillén as an effing Mexican. Quote, President Trump never said that. This is an outrageous lie from The Atlantic 2 weeks before the election. Okay, but wait, that's not the main thing, though. They notice how the denial does not say that he, it doesn't refute, I should say, the idea that he had offered and then refused to pay for the funeral. Okay, that's very telling. Very, very telling. Now, fortunately, her family didn't need the help. All right. Natalie Kawam, the Guillén family attorney, told The Atlantic that the cost of the funeral, attended by the mayor of Houston and the city's police chief, was covered by donations and partially by the U.S. Army. All right. Kawam said that she had sent a bill to the White House, but no money was ever received by the family from Donald Trump. So he had broken that promise. Unsurprising, because he doesn't pay people. Doesn't even pay his own bills. Why would he pay for anyone else? Why would anybody expect him to pay for anyone else? Now, that said, the effing Mexican thing is understandably, what a lot of people are most focused on. Okay? It's gross and it's racist if it's true, and also would be technically wrong. Now, I don't know if he said it, but it wouldn't shock me if he did. Now, the reason that he would say that, though, is, okay, she was born here to undocumented parents. So now, as a result, she received birthright citizenship. Okay, now, Thing is, birthright citizenship is something that Donald Trump has not been a fan of. He actually had threatened to eliminate it. Now, he can't because it's enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which means you would have to pass another constitutional amendment, which would require, like, 2/3 of Congress, I believe. It would require a lot of people, okay? And I don't think they would have the majority to be able to do that, okay? Now, that said, when it comes to amendments, Trump, I know he can only count to 2, the first 2, but you know what? Birthright citizenship, 14th Amendment, it is in there. It's in that Constitution, and as such, you can't touch it without a massive majority. A supermajority, if you would. Now, that said, Donald Trump has been able to reach out to the Hispanic community and get some of them on his side, which I think is bizarre. But he happened to get, case in point, Guillén's sister, Myra, who actually released a statement praising Donald Trump. First, it was reported in The Atlantic, but then there's more. She said, "I am beyond grateful for all the support President Donald Trump showed our family during a trying time. I witnessed firsthand how President Trump honors our nation's hero service. We are grateful for everything he has done and continues to do to support our troops." Remember, this is a guy who said, that dead soldiers are suckers and losers, right? And then comes out and denies saying that. Okay, yeah, suckers and losers, right? She then took to X, tagging The Atlantic, saying, "Wow, I don't appreciate how you were exploiting my sister's death for politics. Hurtful and disrespectful to the important changes she made for service members. President Donald Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. In fact, I voted for President Trump today." Oh, there it is. Wow. Okay, then. Now, the lawyer also pushed back here. She accused the author of the article of misrepresenting their conversation, saying, "More importantly, he used and exploited my clients and Vanessa Guillén's murder for cheap political gain." Now, Mark Meadows also pushed back. He wrote on X, "Any suggestion that President Trump disparaged Ms. Guillén or refused to pay for her funeral expenses is absolutely false." Notice how he's the only one who's actually said, "Oh, no, he didn't refuse to pay for the funeral expenses. He was nothing but kind, gracious, and wanted to make sure that the military and the U.S. government did right by Vanessa Guillén and her family." Okay, but once again, he didn't pay for the funeral after promising to pay for the funeral. If you're not going to do it, why make the promise in the first place? And more importantly, though, did Donald Trump actually try to change anything? Was he responsible for changes in the way that the military deals with sexual assault? No, he was not. And so, no, he did not make any changes for service members. In fact, back in 2016, he had made his views on military sexual assault very clear, calling it inevitable. He said on Twitter, "What did these geniuses expect when they put men and women together?" That was his quote on military sexual assault. Absolutely disgusting. Okay? So apparently, just existing in the same place means that women are just asking for it. Wow. Now, here's the thing, though, right? So when Biden took over, okay, there was an investigation by Lloyd Austin, all right, into sexual assault in the military. And it turns out that after his report was released, there was a bunch of, changes that were proposed to the White House. Biden ended up taking these proposals and doing an executive order. So now the changes, among other things, moved responsibility for the handling of these crimes away from military commanders to independent military prosecutors who were outside the military chain of command. Great. That's a great change. So no longer does the base commander, who, could be in on the assault, okay, no longer does that person handle the claims. Great. Great. That helps accountability. Now, It also establishes that prosecutorial decisions made by the Special Trial Counsel are binding and are fully independent from the military chain of command. It also clearly delineates the relationship and authorized interactions between Special Trial Counsel and commanders to protect the independence of the Special Trial Counsel, and it updates the procedures necessary to protect the victims of the accused and the accused, before, during, and after court-martial proceedings. That was not Donald Trump. That was Joe Biden signing that executive order. Okay? After 2021, when Lloyd Austin began his investigation into cases like hers. Okay? So, regardless of the fact that Trump may or may not called her an effing Mexican, his actions on this are actually far worse than things that he may or may not have said. He did nothing to prevent this from happening and had even made excuses for this happening. That's why the fort, formerly known as Hood, had been what was described as a permissive environment for sexual assault and sexual harassment, attitudes like Trump's. In fact, 14 staffers at the base were either dismissed or disciplined as a result of Austin's investigation, which uncovered 217 unreported accounts of sexual harassment and 93 credible accounts of sexual assault. So, how people like Myra could vote for Donald Trump, who would, by the way, probably literally deport her mom, along with everything else that he has done or hasn't done for women in the military, like her sister, is beyond me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.